Hi, my name is Atif and welcome to 28th part of Real Estate App Development Series. In this part, we will continue implementing the property details. In this part, we will load the images of the property as image slider. We will also check if our property is added to favorite. So let's start by opening the project in Android Studio. For image slider, we need to create a layout file first. Right click on layout folder, click new. Click Layout Resource File. Type the name of the layout file that will be raw image slider and click OK. We need to replace the constraint layout with the relative layout. Relative layout width and height of this relative layout will be match parent. After setting the width and height inside this relative layout, we need to create a shapeable image view with width and height match parent. ID of this image view will be image IV. IV means image view. After setting the ID of this image view, we need to show a sample random image that will only show in layout preview. For that, we will use tools source instead of Android source. So this image will only show in layout preview. After that, we will set the scale type using the property scale type. Scale type will be fit center. So image in this slider will be shown in center of the image view. That's it for the image view. Now we need to create our text view to show the current image in this slider and total number of images. Width and height will be wrap content. ID of this text view will be image count TV. TV means text view. After setting the width and height, we need to place this text view at the end of this relative layout using the property layout align parent end with value true. Similarly, we need to place that text view at the bottom of this relative layout using layout align parent bottom with value true. Padding will be 10 dp. Now we will set the text to this text view using the tools text instead of Android text. So this text will only show in layout preview. The next step is to create a model class. Right click on models package, click new, click Kotlin class, type the name of the class that will be model image slider. After creating the model class, we need to create variables in this model class. The first variable will be the ID of the image that is also in Firebase real-time database. Variable, name it as ID, which will be of type string. By default, it will be null. The second variable will be used to hold the URL of the image that we want to show in image slider. Variable, name it as image URL, which will be of type string and it will also null. Now the next step is to create an empty constructor which is required for Firebase. If we don't create it, the app will be crashed. So create the empty constructor, right click, click generate, click secondary constructor, select null. This will create an empty constructor. Similarly, we need to create a parameterized constructor. Click secondary constructor, select all variables, ID, image URL, and click OK. And with that, our code for model class is now completed. Now we need to create adapter class, same as we do for recycler group. Right click on adapters package, click new, click Kotlin class file, type the name of the class that will be adapter image slider. After creating the adapter class, we need to create a primary constructor of this class that will hold two parameters. First parameter will be context, private, value, name it as context, which will be of type context. As a second parameter, we need to create a parameter that will hold the array list of images. Private, value, name it as image slider array list, which will be of type array list of model image slider. So when we will create an instance of this class, we need to pass these parameters. Now, the next step is to create a view holder class inside this adapter class, in which we will initialize the UI views of raw image slider. Inner class name of the class will be holder image slider. We need to extend this class with the view holder, but before doing that, we need to create a parameter of type view, name it as item view, type will be view. Now we can extend our class to view holder, recycler view dot view holder. We also need to pass the item view in this as parameter. Now inside this class, we will initialize the UI views, but before doing that, we need to bind the raw image slider with our adapter class using the view binding. And we will do that in class level of adapter image slider, private, late init variable, name it as binding, which will be of type raw image slider binding. Later on, we will initialize it, but before doing that, we will initialize the UI views, which we are doing currently. Variable image iv equal to binding dot image iv. Similarly, we will initialize the image count tv variable image count text view equal to binding dot image count text view. After that, we will extend the adapter image slider class with the adapter with view holder class. Adapter pass the view holder, that is holder image slider. Now we need to implement some required functions. For that, hover to the name of the class. It will show option implement members. Click that option, select all functions and click OK. This will implement three methods: on create view holder, on bind view holder, and get item count. Previously, we have declared the view binding in class level. Now we will initialize it in the on create view holder. Binding equal to raw image slider binding dot inflate. This will require three parameters. First parameter is of type layout inflator. Layout inflator dot from pass the context. As a second parameter, we need to pass the parent, which is the parameter of on create view holder and is of type view group. As a third parameter, pass. Now we need to return a new instance of holder image slider. Pass the binding dot root as parameter. After that, jump to the get item count function. We need to return the number of items in the adapter. For that, we will use return image slider array list dot size. Now come to the on bind view holder function. In this function, we will get the data from the current position and set to the UI elements. So let's start by getting the data from current position of array list and save it in the model. Value, name it as model image slider equal to image slider array list, pass the position as parameter, which is of type int. Now we will get the image URL from that model. Value, name it as image URL equal to model image slider dot image URL. Similarly, we have created another variable that will hold the current number of images as well as total number of images. Value image count equal to position plus 1. This is the current image. We have done position plus 1 because the position starts from 0. Backslash image slider array list dot size. This is the total number of images of current property. Now we are going to show the number of images of the property holder dot image count text view dot text equal to image count. Now we need to set the image URL to the image view using the glide. This process might cause exception. That's why we need to enclose it in the try block. Before doing that, to show exception in logcat, we need to define the tag in class level. Private value, name it as tag equal to image slider adapter tag. Now come again in the exception block of the try catch and show the exception in logcat using log.e. First parameter is the tag and pass the exception as third parameter. This will show full exception in logcat. In the try block, we will set the image to image view using the glide.with pass context use.load. This function will be used to load the image that we want to show in image view. After that, call the function dot placeholder. This will be used to show a placeholder image in the image view while the image is loading. Image is available in drivable folder with name image gray. Now call the function dot into This function will be used to set the image in image view. So we need to pass folder.image_iv. That's it for the adapter image slider class. Our adapter image slider class is now completed. Now we will start loading the images of the property. For that, open the property details activity class again. We need to declare the array list of model image slider in class level. Private let init variable. Name it as image slider array list, which will be of type array list of model image slider. We will initialize this array list before loading the images of the property. We will load the images in a separate function. So let's create a function at the end of this class. Private function. Name of the function will be load property images. After creating the function, make sure to call this function inside the onCreate function after the initialization of Firebase auth. Load property images. Now come again in that function and initialize the array list of image slider. Image slider array list equal to array list. After initializing the array list, create an instance of the database reference to start loading the images of the property. Value, name it as reference equal to Firebase database.get instance.get reference. As a path, pass properties. Inside the properties, we need to pass the ID of the property, reference.child, pass the property ID dot child images. Make sure to use the same spellings as in Firebase real-time database. Now we need to add value event listener to load the images in that value event listener using dot add value event listener object value event listener. This will require to implement two functions that are on data change and on cancel. On data change is the function in which we load the images of the property. Before loading the properties, we need to clear the image slider array list using image slider array list.clear. We will create a loop to start loading the images of the property for ds in snapshot.children. ds means data snapshot. Snapshot.children. Now we need to create an instance of the model class using the ds value. Name it as model image slider equal to ds.getValue. Pass the model image slider dot class as parameter. The variables and their spellings in the model class should be same as in Firebase real-time database. Also, model image slider class should have an empty constructor. The process of creating the instance of the model class or adding it to the array list may cause an exception. That's why we will create our try catch and place the creation of the instance and adding to the array list in the try block. Image slider array list dot add and pass the instance of the model image slider as parameter. Now the next step is to create the catch block that will contain a parameter of type exception. Name it as E. After that, we will create log.e. First parameter is the tag, second parameter is the message, third parameter is the exception we want to show in Bobcat. Right after the for loop, we will create an instance of the adapter class value. Name it as adapter image slider equal to adapter image slider. This requires two parameters. First parameter will be context, that is this at property details activity. As a second parameter, we need to pass the image slider array list. Now we will set that adapter to the view picture that is available in the respective layout file with the ID image slider VP. Binding dot image slider VP dot adapter equal to adapter image slider. That's it for loading the property images in image slider. Now the next step is to show if the property is in the favorite or not. For that we are going to create a separate function, private function, name it as check is favorite. After creating the function, make sure to call this function in the onCreate Before doing that, we will create a Boolean variable that will hold the value true if the property is in favor, otherwise false. After the initialization of Firebase auth, we need to create a condition to check if user is logged in. If Firebase auth current user not equal to null, this condition will be called if user is logged in. In that case, we will call the function check is favored. Move to the check is favored function and start checking if that property is added to the favorite list of currently logged in user or not. So let's create an instance of the Firebase database reference value reference equal to Firebase database dot get instance dot get reference as a path pass users. Now we need to pass the UID of the currently logged in user using reference.child firebase.uid dot child as a path pass favorites. We also need to pass the ID of the property using dot child pass the property ID. So if the property ID exists in the favorite section of currently logged in user, it means the property is in the favorite of currently logged in user. Now we will add the value event listener using the dot add value event listener object value event listener. This will require to implement two methods on data change and on cancel. In on data change function, we will check if the property ID exists in the favorite section of current user using favorite, which we have defined in class level equal to snapshot.exist. This will become true if the property is in the favorite section of current user, otherwise false. If favorite, this condition will be called if the property is in the favorite of current user. In that case, we will change the icon of toolbar favorite button. Binding dot toolbar favorite button dot set image resource. Image is available in Gradle folder with name wave yes black. Else statement will be called if that property is not in the favorite section of current user. In that case, we will change the icon to favorite no black, which is available in driver folder. And that's it for the property detail activity class. In this video, we have shown the property images in image slider and also checked if the property is added to favorite or no for the currently signed in user. We will continue implementing the remaining things in next part. Before starting testing the project, we need to update the project SDK version, Gradle version, and libraries. So open the build.gradle file app level and project level. First of all, open the project level, click Tools, click AGP Upgrade Assistant, click Refresh, and then click Run Selected Steps. It will automatically upgrade the project to the latest Gradle version. Over to the Google Services library and click Update to latest version. Similarly, do it for the Kotlin version. Now open the build.gradle file app level and start updating the libraries. You can do it in two ways. First way is to over to the library. It will show option to update it to the latest version. And the second way is place the cursor on the library and hit Alt plus Enter if you are working on Windows. And if you are working on macOS, then you need to press Option plus Enter. This will show option to update the library to latest version. Make sure to update all libraries to the latest version when you are watching this video instead of updating to the version that is shown in this video. After updating all libraries, make sure to update the compile SDK version and target SDK version, which is also in the build.gradle file of app level. For now, the latest version is the version 36, so I am updating it to the 36. Update it to the version when you are watching this video. And in the end, click the Sync Now button. The project will start syncing the project with Gradle files. And then run the project in an emulator or in real device. While the project is running, copy the tag and paste it in the log cap. So it will show only those logs which are printed using this tag. When the app runs successfully, just click the property from the property list. It will open the property details screen. Now this will show property images in image slider. Also, it will show if the property is added to favorite or not. And with that, our video is now completed. We will continue from here in next part.